Hello everyone, welcome to the U.S. immigration news. Families waiting to reunite through the immigration system are facing yet another twist. USCIS has just updated its processing times for the I-130 petition, and the changes that came out in September 2025 are already sparking confusion, anger, and fear among thousands of applicants. For many, the I-130 is the very first step toward securing a green card and bringing loved ones together. Now, with new timelines announced, families are left wondering whether their dream of reunion is moving forward or being pushed further out of reach. In this video, we'll break down exactly what has changed in the I-130 processing times, why the Trump administration's approach is adding new uncertainty, how these updates affect families waiting both inside and outside the U.S., and what it could mean for your immigration journey in the months ahead. If you are liking this video, please hit the bell button, subscribe, and like it so that you may get updates straight to your smartphone. Now let's get into the video. The I-130 petition, officially called the Petition for Alien Relative, is one of the most important forms in the entire U.S. immigration system. It is filed by U.S. citizens and green card holders to sponsor their family members, spouses, parents, children, and siblings for lawful permanent residency. Without an approved I-130, there is no family green card. That makes this petition the foundation of the entire family immigration process. For years, the biggest complaint around the I-130 has been slow and unpredictable processing. Applicants have waited months, sometimes even years, just for the first approval. After that, their cases are transferred to the National Visa Center, where they often get caught in backlogs before reaching a U.S. consulate abroad for an interview. Each step adds new layers of waiting, and families are left in limbo. Children growing up without parents, couples living apart, siblings aging out of categories. Now in September 2025, USCIS has updated its official processing time estimates for the I-130. These changes reflect new delays across multiple service centers. For U.S. citizens sponsoring immediate relatives, which used to be one of the fastest categories, processing is now taking longer than before. Some centers that were processing in an average of 7 to 9 months earlier this year are now listing times closer to 12 to 14 months. For green card holders sponsoring spouses or children, the wait is even worse, with timelines stretching to 15 or even 20 months in some cases. USCIS insists that these numbers are only estimates, but the impact is very real. Families who filed in early 2024 hoping for decisions by the end of this year are now being told to expect another 6 months or more. For those stuck overseas, separated from spouses and children, that means more birthdays missed, more milestones lost, and more painful distance. Critics say this slowdown is not an accident, but the direct result of Trump administration priorities. By shifting resources toward enforcement and loyalty checks, USCIS has become slower in its family-based processing. Officers who once focused on routine adjudications are now tied up with deeper investigations and expanded background checks. As a result, ordinary families who filed clean, complete petitions are finding themselves stuck in backlogs that grow larger by the month. The National Visa Center is also feeling the strain. Once the I-130 is approved, the NVC takes over, requesting documents, scheduling interviews, and coordinating with consulates abroad. But with new Trump-era directives, consulates are applying tougher scrutiny, and interviews are being delayed or rescheduled more often. In some countries, applicants are waiting more than a year just for an interview appointment after their I-130 was approved. Combined with the new USCIS delays, the journey from petition to green card is stretching far beyond what most families can bear. The September 2025 update to processing times also highlights growing inequality between service centers. Applicants whose cases land in the Texas or Nebraska service centers are seeing dramatically longer waits than those processed in California or Potomac. This unevenness makes the system feel arbitrary. Two families filing identical petitions at the same time can have vastly different outcomes simply because their files were assigned to different offices. For families caught on the slower side, that randomness feels like cruelty. The consequences are devastating. Imagine a U.S. citizen married to a foreign spouse who is stuck overseas. They filed the I-130 in good faith, expecting approval within a year. Now, with the new timelines, they are told it could take nearly 2 years before their spouse can even move forward to the visa stage. During that time, they live apart, struggling with the emotional and financial toll of separation. Or consider a green card holder sponsoring a teenage child. The child's eligibility is tied to their age, but because of the delays, the child risks aging out and being pushed into a much slower category. The stakes are not just bureaucratic. They are life-changing. The Trump administration defends these delays by arguing that stricter vetting is necessary. Officials point to fraud risks and national security concerns. They say that longer timelines are the price of greater integrity in the system. But immigration advocates argue that this is political theater, that the real effect of the delays is to discourage legal immigration, shrink family reunification, and make the system so frustrating that people give up. Meanwhile, the monthly visa bulletin adds another layer of tension. Even if your I-130 is approved, you cannot move forward if your priority date is not current. For many family categories, especially F2A and F4, the cutoff dates are now moving more slowly than before. Applicants are checking the bulletin each month with dread rather than hope, wondering whether their date will ever advance. When USCIS lengthens its I-130 processing, the entire pipeline clogs further, making the visa bulletin waits feel endless. The new September 2025 changes are not happening in isolation. Across the immigration landscape, processing timelines are stretching everywhere. Green card applicants in employment categories are seeing longer adjudications. Students waiting for OPT approvals are facing uncertainty. And H-1B workers navigating extensions are receiving more RFEs than ever before. But family-based immigration carries a unique emotional weight. For every month added to I-130 processing, there is a child growing up without a parent, a spouse living across an ocean, or a family member missing irreplaceable moments. Immigration attorneys are urging families to stay vigilant. They recommend double-checking that petitions are complete, responding quickly to RFEs, and keeping communication with the NVC open once approvals are issued. But even the best-prepared applicants cannot escape the reality of systemic delays. Advocacy groups are calling on Congress to hold USCIS accountable, to push for more resources, and to resist policies that intentionally slow family reunification. The trucking industry crackdown, the visa bulletin stagnation, the I-130 delays, all of these reflect a broader trend under the Trump administration. Immigration is being slowed, restricted, and reshaped in ways that touch nearly every community. For families waiting on I-130 approvals, the September 2025 update feels like yet another barrier placed in front of them. The numbers may look technical on a USCIS website, but behind those numbers are lives. A father waiting to hug his daughter again. A mother waiting to join her children. A husband waiting for his wife to finally arrive. The September 2025 processing times are not just statistics. They are the measure of how long families must endure separation. And right now, that measure is getting longer. As America debates immigration policy, the people caught in the middle are those who did everything right. They filed the forms, they paid the fees, they waited their turn. And now they are waiting longer, with no clear end in sight. That's all we have for this bulletin. The U.S. Immigration News Channel provides all necessary visa information and procedures for your U.S. immigration journey. It is important to understand the United States immigration processing steps, visa application requirements, processing times, forms, fees, and more. We will continue to provide all information about U.S. visitor visas, such as B1 and B2, work visas such as L1A, L-1B, and H-1B, student visas, green cards, immigrant visas, EB-1, EB-2, EB-3, EB-4, and EB-5, and family immigrant visas. If you haven't already, please subscribe to the U.S. Immigration News channel. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.